The massive alien ship appeared suddenly at the edge of the solar system on a quiet Tuesday morning. 17 minutes later, every screen on Earth flickered to the same image. A tall, gray-skinned being with 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Frank Collins sat in the emergency bunker beneath Washington, D.C., watching the feed with the other members of Earth's United Planetary Defense Council. His knuckles turned white as he gripped the edge of the conference table. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English. "I am High Commander Vexthor of the Galactic Hegemony. Your planet is now under our protection and authority. We represent over 300 species across 12,000 worlds. Your inclusion in our empire is non-negotiable." Olivia Martins, Earth's lead diplomat, leaned toward Collins and whispered, "They've been watching us, learning our languages." The alien continued, "As new subjects, you will provide an annual tribute of resources and 10,000 humans for labor assignments. You have 30 Earth days to prepare your first payment. Resistance will result in pacification. We await your formal acceptance." The screen went dark. For 10 seconds, nobody in the room spoke. General Diane Howard broke the silence. "We need to activate Project Guardian. Now." Collins nodded. "Do it. And get me a direct line to their ship." 3 hours later, the council had moved to the secure facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Dr. Alan West stood before them, his tired eyes betraying the fact he hadn't slept since the alien arrival. "We've been preparing for this day for 37 years, Dr. West said, bringing up images on the main screen. "Since we recovered the scout ship in 2048, we reversed engineered their technology while keeping our advancements hidden from their observation. Can we fight them?" Admiral Peter Blackwell asked. Dr. Susan Kelly stepped forward. "We studied their biology and psychology from the recovered pilot. Their species thinks hierarchically. They can't imagine a lesser civilization refusing their demands. This is their standard approach: demand tribute, break resistance, establish control." Collins turned to Howard. "What's our defensive capability?" "We have 200 orbital platforms with energy shields and pulse weapons. The nanite swarms are ready. Our fleet is hidden in the lunar bases. They expect either surrender or a futile attack." Martinez added, "They don't expect us to be prepared." Outside the facility, life continued normally for most people. The governments of Earth had decided not to cause panic, instead framing the alien message as a diplomatic opening rather than a threat. Meanwhile, key personnel and resources moved quietly to secure locations. 5 days after first contact, Collins and Martinez sat before a communication screen. The alien ship had moved closer, now orbiting between Earth and Mars. "We request direct communication with High Commander Vexthor," Martinez said calmly. The screen switched to show the same 4-eyed alien, now seated on what looked like a throne. "Have you prepared your tribute acceptance?" he asked. Collins spoke clearly and calmly. "We have prepared our response. Earth rejects your demand for tribute. We do not recognize your authority over our world or our people." Vexthor's upper eyes narrowed. "You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. Primitive worlds like yours have 2 options: compliance or destruction." "You misunderstand," Martinez replied. "We are giving you a warning, not a threat. We strongly advise you to leave our system immediately. For your own safety, run." A sound like grinding rocks came from the alien's throat. Laughter. "Your weapons are primitive. Your ships can barely reach your own moon. Yet you warn us to run." "Yes," Collins said simply. "We know more about you than you realize. This is your only warning. You have 25 days remaining before pacification begins," Vexthor said before cutting the transmission. Back in the secure room, Captain Laura Russell approached Collins. "The Defiant is ready, sir. All ships are on standby." "Good," Collins replied. "They think we're bluffing. Let's hope they realize we weren't before too many people die." Dr. West looked up from his tablet. "The scout ships are moving toward Earth. They're coming to take a closer look at our defenses. Howard smiled grimly. Let them look. Everything they need to see is right where we want it. The hegemony scout ships moved closer to Earth, their sleek forms glinting in the sunlight as they passed the moon. Inside the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Dr. Alan West pointed to the large screen tracking their movements. 3 scout ships, standard pattern for the hegemony. They're doing a basic survey before reporting back to their main vessel. Frank Collins nodded, his face grim. Let them see our regular military bases, the old ones. What about Project Guardian? Asked Olivia Martinez. Still hidden, Dr. Susan Kelly replied. The bases in Antarctica, the deep Pacific, and the Gobi Desert remain undetected. The shield technology is working perfectly. Admiral Blackwell entered the room, handing Collins a tablet. Latest reports from our spy satellites. We've mapped the hegemony ship's weak points. Their quantum computing systems have the same vulnerability we found in the crashed scout ship. Collins looked around the room at Earth's best and brightest. None of them had expected to use their life's work so soon. Tell me about the warning again, Dr. Kelly. Why did they laugh? Kelly brought up images of alien text on the main screen. From the records we recovered, the hegemony has conquered over 200 worlds in the last millennium. Not one ever warned them to leave. Most either surrendered immediately or attempted direct military resistance with inferior technology. And we're different how? General Howard asked. Dr. West stepped forward. 2 reasons. First, we've had their technology for almost 40 years, studying it in secret while they thought we were just developing crude rockets and basic AI. Second, humans are. He paused, searching for the right words. We're different neurologically. Different how? Martins asked. Kelly answered. The hegemony species evolved in hierarchical hive structures. They understand dominance and submission. What they don't understand is asymmetric warfare, guerrilla tactics, or creative problem solving. Humans have been fighting each other for our entire history. We've perfected warfare in ways they never needed to. The room fell silent as a red alert flashed across the screen. One of the scout ships was approaching North America. It's scanning our missile silos in Wyoming. An analyst called out. Let it look, Collins ordered. Those were obsolete 30 years ago. On the hegemony scout ship, first observer Kreltan watched the primitive human defenses with amusement. Their weapons were chemical-based projectiles and crude nuclear devices, nothing that could penetrate even the scout ship shields. Report complete, he announced to his crew of 4. These humans possess approximately level 3 military technology. No energy weapons detected. No shield technology. Minimal space presence. Should we take samples? Asked his second. No need. The tribute will provide plenty of specimens. Kreltan adjusted course to examine a military installation near a large body of water. Back on Earth, Dr. West tracked the scout ship's path. They're heading toward Lake Michigan, near the Chicago base. Howard smiled slightly. Perfect. Time for a small demonstration. Collins considered for a moment, then nodded. Just one. Nothing that reveals our full capabilities. Captain Laura Russell spoke up from her communication station. The Defiant is in position, hidden on the far side of the moon. Awaiting your orders, sir. Not yet, Collins replied. We save our ships for when they're truly needed. In Chicago, a small team of specialists activated a single defense system hidden beneath the lake. As the alien scout ship passed overhead, a focused electromagnetic pulse shot upward through the water and air. On the scout ship, Kreltan watched in confusion as his instruments flickered briefly. Minor power fluctuation, reported a crew member. Cause unknown. Log it and continue, Kreltan ordered, unaware that Earth had just tested their ability to disrupt hegemony systems without revealing the source. 24 hours later, the scout ships returned to the main vessel. High Commander Vexthor received their reports with satisfaction. As expected, he told his war council, their technology is primitive. Their warning was empty bravado. His second-in-command hesitated. One scout reported an unexplained power fluctuation over a large body of water. Equipment malfunction. Vexthor dismissed. Prepare the pacification fleet. We will take their tribute by force and teach them the cost of defiance. Meanwhile, deep beneath the ocean floor, Earth's real defenses continue to power up, unseen and unsuspected by the approaching Empire. 15 days had passed since first contact. On the surface, Earth appeared to be preparing for surrender. Cargo ships gathered at spaceports. News channels reported on cooperation agreements with the alien visitors. Government officials made vague statements about a new era for humanity. Deep below the Pacific Ocean, the truth was very different. Admiral Blackwell stood before a massive window looking out into the dark water. Behind the thick glass, enormous machines built submarines unlike any seen before. These vessels didn't just travel through water. They could fly through space. "How many are ready?" Collins asked, joining him at the window. 12 attack ships and the Defiant," Blackwell replied. "Not as many as we hoped, but enough to make them regret coming here." A young officer approached them. "Sir, the evacuation is at 80%. All critical personnel will be in the bunkers within 48 hours. Collins nodded. "Good. What about the civilian population?" "We can't move everyone without alerting the hegemony," General Howard said, entering the room. "But we've quietly relocated 30% of major cities to the hardened shelters." On the main screen, a flashing alert appeared. Dr. West's voice came over the speakers. "They're moving. 6 large ships have broken off from the main vessel. Military transports, heavily armed." Dr. Kelly's face appeared on a second screen. "They're ahead of schedule. The tribute deadline isn't for another 15 days. They saw our apparent preparations for surrender and decided to speed things up," Martine suggested. "Classic predator behavior. They smell weakness and move in for the kill." Collins turned to Howard. "Are we ready?" "Not completely," she admitted, "but ready enough." "Then send the message," Collins ordered. Martinez nodded and opened a channel to the hegemony ships. Her face betrayed no fear as she spoke. "This is Earth Diplomatic Service. We notice your ships approaching our planet. We remind you that the deadline you set has not expired." High Commander Vexthor's face appeared on screen. "We observed your preparation vessels. We will assist in the collection process. Land your ships at these coordinates and prepare to transfer resources and human tributes." "We are not preparing tribute ships," Martine said calmly. "Those are evacuation vessels. This is your final warning to leave our system." Vexthor's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of amusement. "Your continued defiance is noted. We will now demonstrate the cost of resistance." The transmission ended. Minutes later, a bright flash appeared in the sky over the Pacific Ocean. A small, uninhabited island vanished in a blast of energy. "They targeted Johnston Atoll," an analyst reported. "No casualties." "A warning shot," Howard said. "They're still being careful." Collins turned to Captain Russell. "Laura, prep the Defiant. On my command, I want you in position to intercept if they target populated areas." "Yes, sir," she replied, leaving quickly. Dr. West entered with a tablet displaying complex calculations. "The blast confirms what we suspected. Their weapons are powerful but use standard energy signatures. Our shields should hold." "Should?" Martines asked. "Will," West corrected himself. "The shields will hold." Another flash lit up the monitors. This time, a military base in the Aleutian Islands disappeared. "Still avoiding civilian targets," Howard noted. "They want our resources intact." "Including us," Dr. Kelly added grimly. The hegemony ships moved closer, entering Earth's atmosphere. They positioned themselves over major cities: New York, Beijing, London, Moscow, Tokyo. Inside the lead ship, Vexthor addressed his captains. "The humans continue their pitiful evacuation efforts. Once we display our power over their largest population centers, they will surrender." "Should we fire, Commander?" His second asked. "Not yet. Let them feel the fear first. Fear will make them compliant workers." What Vexthor couldn't see was happening below the surface. In hidden bases around the world, humans activated defense systems designed with stolen alien technology. Satellite systems came online, their true purposes finally revealed. And in a bunker beneath the mountains, Collins gave the order they had prepared for decades. Operation Deterrent is now active. May God help us all. High Commander Vexthor stood on the bridge of his command ship, hovering over New York City. The primitive humans scurried below like insects. Their vehicles jammed roads leading away from the city. Their aircraft were grounded, not daring to challenge the hegemony ships controlling the skies. "The time has come," Vexthor announced to his fleet. "Target their government buildings first. Low power, enough to destroy but not damage surrounding areas. Show them our precision." Energy weapons powered up across the 6 hegemony ships. Green light gathered at their underbellies. "Fire," Vexthor commanded. Beams of energy shot downward toward Earth's cities. But something unexpected happened. The beams hit invisible barriers above each city and scattered harmlessly into the atmosphere. "What is this?" Vexthor demanded. "Report." His weapons officer checked the systems frantically. "Unknown energy shields, Commander. They're deflecting our attacks." "Impossible. Their technology is primitive." Vexthor slammed his fist on the command console. "Increase power. Full strength." The hegemony ships fired again, their weapons now at maximum power. The shields above Earth's cities glowed blue under the assault but held firm. In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. West monitored the shield systems, all shields holding. Power levels at 60% and stable. "They look confused," Martinez observed, watching the alien ships hovering uncertainly. "Time to show them what else we can do," General Howard said. "Sir." Collins nodded. "Activate the defense platforms." Around the world, what had appeared to be ordinary satellites changed. Hidden panels opened, revealing weapons based on the same technology the hegemony used. 300 of these platforms targeted the alien ships. "First volley only," Collins ordered. "Let's not show all our cards at once." 50 of the platforms fired simultaneously. Energy beams struck the lead hegemony ship over New York, causing its shields to flare brightly. On the alien vessel, alarms blared. "Shields at 80%. An officer shouted. "They have orbital weapons." Vexthor stared at the display in disbelief. "How is this possible?" "Scan those platforms." The scan results shocked him further. The human weapons used hegemony technology. Technology Earth should not possess for at least another century. "All ships, evasive maneuvers." Vexthor ordered. "Return fire on those platforms." The hegemony ships began firing at the defense platforms while trying to avoid their beams. 2 platforms were destroyed, but the aliens lost track of the others as they suddenly seemed to vanish from sensors. "Stealth technology," Vexthor muttered. "They have our stealth technology too." In the Pacific base, Captain Laura Russell boarded the UES Defiant. Her crew of 100 was ready, each person chosen for their exceptional skills and courage. The Defiant was humanity's masterpiece, a warship built with reverse-engineered alien technology and improved by human innovation. "Captain on deck," her first officer called out as she entered the bridge. "Status report," Russell demanded, taking her seat in the command chair. "All systems green. Shields at full power. Weapons hot. Jump drive charged and ready." Russell nodded. Commenced launch sequence. The water above the hidden base began to churn. The Defiant rose from the depths, its sleek black hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. 3 more ships emerged alongside it. Back in the command center, Admiral Blackwell watched the launch on his screens. "Defiant is away. Black Squadron is in formation." Collins opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Director Collins. The time has come to show the hegemony they threaten the wrong planet. Engage according to Operation Deterrent protocols. Remember, our goal is not to destroy them, but to convince them to leave. Good luck. In space, the hegemony ships regrouped, still firing at the elusive defense platforms. They didn't notice the 4 black ships rising rapidly from Earth until alarms sounded. Unknown vessels approaching at high speed. An officer reported to Vexthor. They're using some kind of propulsion we've never seen before. Vexthor stared at the image of the human ships. They looked nothing like the primitive spacecraft he had expected. These were warships, advanced warships. All vessels, target those ships, he commanded, his voice rising with the first hints of fear. Destroy them immediately. The UES Defiant moved faster than any ship the hegemony had ever encountered. It circled the alien vessels like a shark, its black hull barely visible against the darkness of space. Captain Laura Russell stood calmly on the bridge, watching the enemy ships trying to track her movements. They can't lock their weapons on us, her tactical officer reported. Our speed and stealth systems are working. Good, Russell replied. Begin Phase 2. On her command, the Defiant released thousands of tiny objects toward the hegemony ships. Each one was smaller than a grain of rice, a nanite designed by Dr. West and his team. High Commander Vexthor watched in confusion as the sensors showed strange readings around his ships. What are those small objects? Missiles. Unknown, Commander, his science officer replied. They're too small to cause physical damage. Ignore them, Vexthor ordered. Focus on destroying the human vessels. This was a fatal mistake. The nanites attached themselves to the hulls of the alien ships and began their work. They were programmed to find and disrupt the quantum computing systems that controlled the hegemony vessels. In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Dr. Kelly explained what was happening to Collins and Martinez. The nanites are our greatest advantage. All advanced civilizations eventually develop similar computing foundations. We learned their weakness from the crashed scout ship. How long will it take? Collins asked. Minutes, West replied. Their systems will begin failing one by one. On the lead hegemony ship, the first systems began to malfunction. Weapons went offline. Communications failed. Life support flickered. What is happening? Vexthor demanded, his voice rising in panic. Something is attacking our systems, his engineer reported. It's like nothing we've ever seen. The computing core is being corrupted somehow. Impossible. Vexthor slammed his control panel. These humans are primitives. On the Defiant, Russell received the update from command. The nanites are working. Their systems are failing. Should we attack? Her weapons officer asked. Not yet, Russell replied. Let them understand what's happening first. In the second hegemony ship, the captain made a desperate decision. We must retreat and report this to the Hegemony Council. These humans have technology they should not possess. The ship turned and tried to flee, but its engines sputtered and died as the nanites reached the propulsion controls. Dr. Kelly watched this on the monitors and turned to Collins. Now is the time to explain what they're facing. They need to understand why they should leave. Collins nodded and opened a communication channel to all hegemony ships. His face appeared on their screens, those that still worked. High Commander Vexthor, this is Director Collins of Earth. By now you've noticed your ships are failing. The tiny machines we sent are disrupting your quantum systems. This is just one of many technologies we developed. Vexthor stared at the human's face on his flickering screen. How? How did primitives develop such technology? Collins smiled slightly. We're not primitives. In 2048, one of your scout ships crashed in our desert. We studied it. We learned from it. We prepared for you. In the command center, Martinez stepped forward. Tell them about the neurological differences. Collins continued. Dr. Kelly, our xenobiologist, would like to explain something important about humans. Dr. Kelly's face replaced Collins on the alien screens. Your species evolved in hierarchical structures. You understand order and submission. Humans evolved as pack hunters and problem solvers. We think differently. When threatened, we don't just fight. We innovate. We adapt. We find weaknesses and exploit them. She showed images of human history, cave paintings of hunters working together, ancient battles, modern wars. We spent thousands of years fighting each other, perfecting the art of war. When we found your ship, we didn't just copy your technology. We improved it. On the bridge of his failing ship, Vexthor finally understood the truth. The human warning had been sincere. They hadn't been bluffing. All ships, he commanded, his voice now urgent. Purge all systems and restart. We must break free of these machines and return to the main fleet. These humans are not what we thought. Vexthor's engineers worked frantically to restart their systems. The tiny machines from Earth had infected everything. 2 of the 6 hegemony ships had completely shut down, floating helplessly in space. The others struggled to maintain basic functions. Purge complete on weapons systems, an officer reported. Restoring power now. Vexthor felt something he had never experienced before: doubt. These humans were not like other species the hegemony had conquered. They had been watching, waiting, and preparing. On the Defiant, Captain Russell received new orders from Earth Command. Captain, we're moving to Phase 3. Disable their flagship but leave them an escape route. We want them to run home with a message. Understood, Russell replied. She turned to her crew. Target the command ship's weapons and propulsion. Use the pulse cannons, full power. The Defiant moved into position above Vexthor's vessel. Its hull opened to reveal weapons unlike anything the hegemony had seen before. They glowed with blue energy, gathering power. In the Rocky Mountain base, Dr. West explained the technology to Collins and Martinez. We call them pulse cannons. They're based on hegemony technology, but modified using principles from our particle accelerators. They're 50% more powerful than anything they have. The Defiant fired. Blue energy slammed into the hegemony flagship. Its shields, already weakened by the nanites, collapsed immediately. The hull buckled under the impact, though the ship remained mostly intact. Inside, Vexthor was thrown from his command chair. Fires broke out across the bridge. Emergency systems activated, spraying suppression foam. Damage report, he shouted, pulling himself up. Weapons destroyed. Engines at 20%. Shields gone, his second reported. Commander, we cannot win this battle. For the first time in his long career, Vexthor considered retreat. Send a message to all ships. Fall back to the main fleet. The surviving hegemony vessels turned and limped away from Earth, moving as fast as their damaged engines would allow. In the command center, Admiral Blackwell watched them go. Should we finish them off? We have the capability. Collins shook his head. No, we want survivors to tell the story. The hegemony needs to understand what happened here. General Howard nodded in agreement. Besides, this was just their advance force. The main fleet is still beyond Mars. We've made our point, but we're not ready for a full-scale war. As the alien ships retreated, Earth's defenses remained on high alert. The orbital platforms tracked the hegemony vessels. The Defiant and its sister ships formed a protective screen around the planet. Captain Russell opened a channel to the command center. Sir, the enemy is retreating. Should we pursue? Negative, Captain, Collins replied. Maintain position. Our goal was to convince them to leave, not to start an interstellar war. On the main hegemony vessel waiting beyond Mars, Sub-Commander Krell received the damaged ships with shock. The mighty hegemony warships, pride of their fleet, limped back with massive damage. When Vexthor was brought before him, the High Commander looked shaken. What happened? Krell demanded. How could primitives do this? They are not primitives, Vexthor said quietly. They have our technology. They've improved it, and they think differently than we do. Impossible, Krell protested. No species advances that quickly. These humans do, Vexthor insisted. They warned us to run. They knew what would happen. Krell considered this information. The hegemony had never retreated from a conquest in 3,000 years, but they had never faced a species like humans before. We should return with the main fleet, an officer suggested. 10,000 ships instead of 6. We will crush them. Vexthor shook his head. You don't understand. If they can do this much damage now, what else have they prepared? These humans don't think like us. They plan for worst cases. They expect betrayal. Back on Earth, Dr. Kelly reviewed the data from the battle. They're confused, she told Collins. Their hierarchy doesn't allow for rapid adaptation. They'll need to consult their council before deciding what to do next. And what will they decide? Martins asked. Collins looked at the screens showing the damaged alien ships limping away. They have two choices: accept that we're not worth the cost to conquer, or return with everything they have. And if they choose the second option, General Howard asked. Collins's face hardened. Then we show them the rest of what we've built. 3 days passed with no sign of the hegemony main fleet moving toward Earth. In the command center, the tension remained high as everyone waited for the aliens' next move. They're discussing their options, Dr. Kelly said, studying the communications they had intercepted from the main hegemony ship. Their leadership is divided. Collins nodded. Then it's time for our next step. We need to show them we can do more than just defend Earth. He turned to Admiral Blackwell. Is the Defiant ready for a jump? Yes, sir, Blackwell replied. Captain Russell reports all systems green. Jump drive is fully charged. Good. Tell her to prepare for Phase 4. On the bridge of the Defiant, Captain Russell received her new orders. Her expression remained calm, but her eyes showed excitement. We're going to jump to the hegemony main ship, she told her crew. We will not attack unless attacked first. Our mission is to deliver a message in person. Her first officer looked concerned. Captain, we'll be vastly outnumbered. Yes, Russell agreed. That's the point. The Defiant moved away from Earth, heading to a clear area of space. Its engines glowed bright blue as the jump drive powered up. This technology was humanity's greatest achievement, something even the hegemony didn't possess. It allowed a ship to travel vast distances almost instantly. Jump drive at full power, the engineer reported. Coordinates locked. Jump, Russell ordered. The Defiant vanished from Earth's solar system. For a brief moment, it existed everywhere and nowhere at once. Then it reappeared directly in front of the hegemony main fleet. On the hegemony command ship, alarms blared as sensors detected the human vessel. Impossible, Sub-Commander Krell shouted. How did they get here? Vexthor stared at the screen showing the black human ship. They have jump technology. They can appear anywhere, anytime. Before the hegemony could react, the Defiant sent a transmission. Captain Russell's face appeared on their screens. This is Captain Laura Russell of Earth's United Planetary Defense. I am here to speak with your highest authority. Krell was too shocked to respond immediately. Jump technology was theoretical even to the hegemony. Yet these humans had mastered it. Connect me, he finally ordered. When the connection opened, Russell spoke clearly and confidently. We have demonstrated our defensive capabilities. Now we want you to understand our offensive reach. The camera panned to show Dr. Kelly, who had joined the mission as Earth's scientific representative. Our jump technology allows us to appear anywhere in your empire, she explained. We have mapped the locations of 37 of your core worlds. If you choose to continue this conflict, we can deliver our nanite weapons to each of them simultaneously. She displayed images of the damaged hegemony ships from the earlier battle. This was us being merciful. We disabled your ships but allowed your people to live. That mercy was a choice, not a limitation. In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Collins watched the transmission with Martinez and General Howard. Will they believe us? Martins asked. They have to, Collins replied, because everything we're saying is true. On the hegemony ship, Krell conferred urgently with his commanders. The human ship sitting boldly in front of their entire fleet sent a clear message. These humans weren't afraid. They had technology that matched or exceeded the hegemony's own. We should destroy them now, one commander urged. One ship is no threat to our fleet. And if they've sent other ships to our homeworlds? Vex Thor asked. Ships we cannot detect until they appear. Ships carrying weapons that can shut down entire planets. Back on the Defiant, Russell waited calmly. Her ship was ready to jump away at an instant's notice, but she showed no fear. They're discussing, Dr. Kelly said quietly. This goes against everything in their culture. The hegemony has never negotiated as equals with the species they intended to conquer. Finally, Krell's face reappeared on the screen. The Hegemony Council demands proof of your claims. How do we know you can reach our worlds? Russell smiled slightly. Check your colony on Proxima Centauri. We left a small beacon there yesterday. It's harmless, just a marker. But it could have been something else. The blood drained from Krell's face as he received confirmation that a human device had indeed been found on their nearest outpost world. The message was clear. Nowhere in the hegemony was safe from Earth. The Grand Council chamber of the hegemony buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 300 species gathered to hear about the strange humans who had defied their empire. At the center stood Vex Thor, once proud and now humbled. These humans possess technology they should not have, he explained. They reverse-engineered our systems from a crashed scout ship and improved upon them. They have weapons that can disable our ships without destroying them. And most concerning, they have jump drive technology. The arch-leader of the hegemony, a tall being with gray skin and 6 eyes, leaned forward. Your recommendation, High Commander. Vex Thor took a deep breath. We should recognize Earth as a sovereign power and establish diplomatic relations. They are too costly to subdue and too dangerous to ignore. This suggestion caused uproar in the chamber. The hegemony had never retreated from a conquest in 3,000 years. Meanwhile, on Earth, Olivia Martinez prepared for her new role. The hegemony had requested a diplomatic meeting on their capital world, and she would represent humanity. Are you nervous? Collins asked as they walked through the halls of the Rocky Mountain facility. A little, Martinez admitted. I'll be the first human to visit an alien world. Not quite the first, Dr. Kelly corrected with a small smile. We sent a special forces team to plant that beacon on Proxima Centauri, remember? Admiral Blackwell joined them. The Defiant is ready to transport you. Captain Russell will ensure your safety. 2 days later, the Defiant jumped into orbit around the hegemony capital world. The massive planet glittered with city lights. Thousands of ships moved in orderly patterns around it. Martinez stood on the bridge beside Captain Russell, watching the alien world grow larger on the screen. It's beautiful, she said quietly. And now they know we can reach it any time we want. Russell replied. A hegemony escort guided them to a docking station. Martinez, along with a small team including Dr. Kelly and General Howard, prepared to disembark. Remember, Howard said, checking her ceremonial sidearm. Show strength, but also restraint. We want peace, but peace on our terms. The hegemony representatives met them at the dock. These were not military officers, but civilian leaders, a clear sign that the aliens now approached Earth differently. In the grand meeting hall, Martinez faced the arch-leader across a wide table. Earth thanks you for this opportunity to establish peaceful relations, she began. The arch-leader's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. We are unaccustomed to negotiating with species at your development stage. But you have proven yourselves unique. We are unique, Martinez agreed, and we wish to avoid unnecessary conflict. Earth has no desire to conquer or control others. We simply want to be left alone to develop in our own way. The treaty took 3 days to negotiate. Earth would be recognized as a sovereign power. The hegemony would not demand tribute or interfere with Earth's development. In return, humans would share some of their innovations and open limited trade relations. When Martinez returned to Earth, Collins met her at the landing pad. "How did it go?" he asked. "They're still afraid of us," she replied. "But that fear is turned to respect. The treaty is fair, better than fair." Collins nodded. "Good. And what about the other species in the hegemony? The ones they've conquered?" Martinez smiled slightly. "Some of their representatives approached me privately. They've never seen the hegemony back down before. It's given them ideas." Later that evening, Collins stood on the roof of the facility, looking up at the stars. Dr. West joined him. "We did it," West said. "We protected Earth." "For now," Collins replied. "But the universe is bigger than we imagined, and we've just announced our presence to it. Are you worried?" West asked. Collins thought for a moment. "No. Humanity spent thousands of years fighting itself. We nearly destroyed our own planet multiple times. But we survived, we learned, we grew. If there's one thing humans are good at, it's facing impossible odds and finding a way forward." He looked up at the night sky, now knowing what waited beyond those distant stars. "Whatever comes next, we'll be ready."